for you. Today we have our live and we have a super special guest from a very special guest from a very special place. And here we have Tendel, we have Lynn Admissions. How are ya? How's everybody? Alexia, remember, call your friends, let your friends know that we're here with Renee from Lynn University. And you see that little plane right there? Just tell them that we're going live. So, without further ado, let's invite our colleague from Lynn University. 1 second. Karen and Bob, how are you, my friend? Karen, Renee.
Hi, Juanca. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
Doing very well. Doing
How
very
many
well.
how,
Thank you.
how many miles apart are we from each other right now?
Sorry, we have a little bit of a bad connection, and I didn't get your question.
Okay. No, I was saying, how far are you from my place? How many miles? Are you in Boca Raton?
Oh boy. Okay, maybe what? Maybe like 12 miles? Maybe 10? Maybe
Okay.
less? Yeah, yeah.
So, well, thank you so much. Here, I'm ready for Lynn University, a very
Yay.
special place for me. For those of you watching, we are with Renée Loayza, Director of International Admissions at Lynn University. Renée has been part of the Lynn family for the last 9+ years, almost 10 years. So we have an incredible program coming up with Renée, and let's start. Are you ready?
Sure. Yes.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
Mhm.
So first of all, let's say hello to Daniel, Maria Cristina, Miss Ola, Alex. We're gonna have a lot of people. Maybe this is Jorge Delgado, Jampi. We have Bob. We have Karen here. We have a lot of people joining us this afternoon. So Renee, how are you doing?
I'm doing very, very well. It's so great to hear of all the people that you're reading off. So it's a wonderful opportunity to say hello to you, to your team, and to everyone else that's watching.
Thank you. And thank you, Lynn University and Office of Admissions for allowing us to use their account to the handle. I know a lot of admitted students of international admissions. Uh, Renee, so where are you from? I see that you travel all over the world. So when I think about you, I think about Bolivia, Venezuela, Colombia, USA. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay, so I think I was an international student before I was even born. My family is originally from Bolivia, and my parents married and they left Bolivia very, very young, and they were living in Peru at the time. So I should have been born in Peru. My mom was still young, so she would go home to Bolivia, and my sister was born in Bolivia, and I was born in Bolivia. Then moved to Argentina. My dad was
Okay.
in the oil industry, so we moved a little bit growing up. So I was in Argentina, and the farthest most point of Argentina where the penguins lived in almost La Patagonia, in
Wow.
Comodoro Rivadavia, and that's where I spent my first 2 years. From there, we moved to Colombia and lived in Barranquilla for about 8 years.
Okay.
Went to Marymount and to Parish. So big shout out to Marymount and Parish. And then had wonderful growing up years in Colombia, and then to Venezuela, which is really like where my heart is. That's where I spent all of my high school. I'm a product of international education and international schools, um, all in these countries.
So you graduated from Venezuela, from an international school
Yes.
in Venezuela. Which one?
Yes, it's called Escuela Bellavista, which is the
Okay.
American school in Maracaibo. At the
Okay.
time, the oil industry or Venezuela was at its peak, and all my classmates were from the US, from Europe. It was truly an international school.
So did you guys play like amongst all the international schools in Venezuela, sports and competition?
We did, and we played against CIC in Carabobo, CIC in Caracas, Campo Alegre in Caracas. We would go across the lake that there was another American school. So we did. We had the championships, and today they still have these championships. They play from school to school for the sports.
So we have students watching from all over the world. We have parents, we have high school counselors, we have colleagues, we have entrepreneurs, but we might be having Jane Laurie right now from the UAE. You want to send a message to our lovely counselor, Jane Laurie?
Oh yes, Jane, how wonderful that you are tuning in with us. And it has been far too long that I haven't seen you, but a big shout out. I hope you are well. Thank you for always hosting Lynn University regardless of where we are, whether it is in Abu Dhabi or in Argentina for so many years. And great to see you, that you're tuned in.
I actually met Jane Laurie recruiting for Lynn University when she was a high school counselor in Kuala Lumpur, International School of Kuala Lumpur, KL. So Jane Laurie, she goes way back with a lot of us. So shout out to Jane Laurie. We have here Lau Cobo, and she said, I worked for 20 years at Escuela Bellavista in Maracaibo. So you know
wonderful.
her?
What is the name?
I see here her handle says Lau Cobo. So maybe Lau Cobo, if you want to write your full name.
Sounds like maybe a coach.
Maybe.
The men's coach.
So
Sports.
So let's see if she types that out like okay, Laura Cobo. That's what she's saying. Laura Cobo.
Awesome. I would love to know. I don't remember. 20 years ago. I had already graduated high school 20 years ago, but
school counselor. So Laura, hola.
Hi.
Renee, when you were in high school, your system.
So we had the straight curriculum at that time. The IB wasn't offered at Bella Vista. It's offered today.
Okay.
But it was so I didn't take the IB curriculum at that time.
Okay. Okay. So during that time of history, I know no university will come and recruit at my school in Medellin, at La Salle. Did you get a lot of visitors, international universities visiting you guys in Maracaibo?
No, we didn't. But you know what we got? It was the summer camps. They used to come and recruit. And I used to look at these videos. Well, at the time, they were Betamax, I think it was, VHS, right? That they used to show about summer camps here in the States. And boy, I would die because I wanted to be at the camp, but I also used to say, how cool that these people get to travel and come and show us all these wonderful opportunities. I never got to go to a summer camp here in the U.S., but yeah, so we had camp recruiters that used to come.
Already. And let me take a second just to say to everyone, we are here with Renee and Loayza, Director of International Admissions at Lynn University. We're live from Boca Raton. We're only 12 miles apart, so we're not too far away. And I just want to take a second to say hello to Mohammed, Shaka, Brian, Santiago, Omar, Super, Rebecca, Javi. So to all of you, welcome to this live. Renee, so you were International School of Maracaibo, and how did you decide to ended up enrolling at Emmanuel College in Boston?
Okay, so I will share this with the students that are listening in. So my graduating class at Bella Vista at the international school was very small. So Bella Vista is a small school. It's a K through 12 private international school. And the trend was to go to Texas A&M, Northeastern, and TCU and Baylor. We had a lot of students from the Texas area. And even though I had been coming to the States for vacation since I think I was 4 years old, my parents really empowered my sister and I to attend whatever university we wanted. So I thought, I'm going to go to Texas. I'm going to go to A&M because that's where everybody went. My counselor at the time Great counselor. He said, well, you should go visit. And I had friends at A&M and went to visit. When I got to Texas A&M, I thought, this is a city like when I realized you actually had to get into a shuttle and go to class, and it was an entire city, I thought, there's no way, I'm never going to make it here. I knew
Okay.
then that it was too big for me. So I started looking in the Boston area.
Okay.
And my sister was actually a student in the Boston area at Emmanuel, but I didn't want to go where she went because, I didn't want to do the same thing that she did. But I also had friends at Northeastern and BU, and I thought, oh, okay, I'm just going to go to Emmanuel for 1 year, and then I'll transfer to BU and Northeastern. My parents, even though they gave us the freedom to choose, they were super smart because they would ask the right questions to make me think. And I thought, okay, maybe I'll stay at Emmanuel for a year. But I had such a wonderful experience that I stayed there. I ended up not transferring, and it was the right thing for me. Even though I didn't realize it at the time, I needed a small university, small school, but I wanted to be right in the city, and that was the perfect
Okay.
thing for me.
So you got your bachelor's in business administration or management, and then you move on and continue getting your master's degree in human resources management. So how do you make those two decisions, business and then human resources?
So business, because always the plan was for me to go back to Venezuela and work in my father's company.
Okay.
Um, and after graduating, I did my OPT, and I actually worked in the stock market. I worked in the
Oh, wow.
securities industry and mutual funds. So I worked for 2 years after my undergrad, and I wanted to just get experience. And then my dad said to me, when are you just do it, to get your master's, and then just stop working and get your master's, and then you can come. So I thought, let me just do it now. I thought, what can I contribute to in my father's company? And the oil industry is a very male-dominated industry. Latin America, as you know, is a super male-dominated workforce, and I thought, okay, human resources is where I can make the most impact, and that's how I chose my program, and I went back to Emmanuel for that.
Good. And then it happens like me. I went to Clark University, and then I went for my second bachelor's, and then I got hooked into recruiting and admissions. And that's where I met you many, many years ago in Asia. We met at a tour in Asia, I think 20 plus years ago. And this became our career. And I'm so thankful and grateful to Lynn University. My 4.5 years at Clark University, my 12 years at Lynn University made who I am as a professional. So to my master's degree alma mater, thank you so much. I am so proud of being a Lynn University alumni, and it is an honor to have you here, Renee. You are a very popular figure in international education, and we will bring you back to Florida, to Lynn University. For those of you watching, Renee has been an incredible volunteer for the Council of International Schools. She served on the committee for 8 years. She's led multiple tours in Latin America. Renee, how many countries you've been to around the world?
Wow. Do you know, I'm one of those people that doesn't count. I
Okay.
must be over, I don't know, maybe 50, 60. Traveling has been in my family, like as a bug, so I traveled a lot. But then being with Emmanuel and with Lynn, I've had the opportunity to travel to so many places, but I don't count. Fíjate,
Okay.
that's something I'll count sometime, and I'll get back to
Count
you on that.
sometime. I know Jorge Delgado. Jorge, if you're watching, just type it in. Maybe I will tell you 89. And thank you to both Lynn, Clark, and of course to my personal travel. But I want to take a second to say hello to Jimena from Campo Verde. We have it's me. We have Taher, Odiven, Lori Kukok. Hola, Lori.
Hey,
Anna
Lori.
Swistunov. We have a
Ah,
lot of people on this chat, so I want to say hello to all of you. We have Carolina Corral Jaramillo, and Jorge says, I learned so much from Renee, and I totally agree. Renee,
oh,
so I remember when I was at Lynn, we were hiring for international admissions, And for the students that are watching, for the parents that are watching, high school counselors, keep me, why do you pick to come and work for Lynn University?
Wow. So this, I'm going to give you, you're going to have to give me a little bit of time because I have so much to say. So when I was recruiting, and well, first of all, thank you, right, for giving me the opportunity, and to Stefano and Delcy Phillips.
And Elsie.
And Delcy, because at the time, I knew about Lynn. I've known about Lynn for over 20 years. And I think that if I would have known about Lynn when I was looking for a university, I would have gone to Lynn. When I was working with Emmanuel College, recruiting, I met you, I met Stefano. And Stefano, we were traveling, and it was then with, I think it was either CIS Tours or Linden. And every time that Stefano would talk about Lynn, he was so passionate. And I was like, I have to go to this place. Lynn has been at the forefront of international education for over 20 years. And the way he was so passionate and the way the institution was behind him, I always used to think, like, I used to go up to him like, how do you do that? Like, how do you get your president to host 20 counselors on your campus to just bring them and have them stay with you? So Lynn was on my radar for a very long time, and I really admired the work that you all were doing at Lynn. Fate made it that, well, fate and the cold weather made it that it was just too cold for me in the Boston area. And then my family and I decided to move here to Boca, pick Boca because, you know, it's a beautiful city, it's paradise. And the schools are good, high schools, elementary schools are very good. My children were 5 and 2 at the time. And so that's how we moved to here. How did I end up at Lynn? To answer your question, so I was ready to go back to work. I was at Emmanuel for 13 years between international student services and student life. And then once the kids got a little older, I was ready to go back to work. And my passion was still education, like it is today. And it was Lynn that I went back to because of the mission, very similar to what we did at Emmanuel, and just the people and their dedication to changing lives of students. You see it happening every day.
Yes, and I remember I met Evie Puller. She doesn't like when I say this. Evie is Director of International Missions at Elon, and I met Evie in Japan, probably in 1997, 1998. I met Tom LaPere. And for them, like Stefano, my brother, sending big kiss, big hug. And it was so easy to sell Lynn University, the location. And I still remember the 3 principles of the Lynn 2020: individualized, international, and innovative. And it was so easy going to a college fair and saying that, and kudos for the division, Dr. Ross, and the whole community at Lynn. When you guys came out with the 3 words, for us recruiters, that was an easy sell, the location, everything. So I know the passion, like Tom LaPere and Evie and Stefano and every single admission counselor at Lynn University talks. It's just fascinating. I want to say hello to Rachel Dillon in Mexico, Cameroon. Renee is the best. Tata, she says hello from India. Anna Bar is back. Stacy's here. You have Mongi. Then we have Rubio. Hi, Juanca and Renee. Hello, my friend. So, Renee, one of the things about Lynn University is technology. And you actually told me something that I didn't realize. I did my MBA at Lynn University and graduated from that MBA in 2005. In 2005, Lynn University already had an incredible online platform for us, especially recruiters, that we could do a hybrid program. Classes at Lynn, and if we were recruiting and traveling, you could go online. So it seems to me right now with the COVID-19 and we're still at home for now 70 days, I think for Lynn University as an Apple Select, or you correct me in my terminology, it's been a very easy transition through the online process. Tell us a little bit more about it.
So you're right. For Lynn, we've been very fortunate in light of the pandemic that we have had a very successful online program. The online program offers a number of selected majors and masters. So it's not all our majors and masters that are offered, but we have over 20 years of experience. Our faculty has been teaching, is accustomed to a very active platform, students. So let me take you back to 2012, right after the presidential debate, or as a result of the presidential debate at the university, Lynn was able to reap some of the benefits of that we did of hosting the presidential debate. Part of what we needed to do and part of the requirements in order to host was we needed to invest and really upgrade a lot of the technology and the infrastructure that we had. That really gave us the platform to launch our iPad program. Our iPad program, to bring you to current, is offered for our day students, our traditional program, are also our masters. So it's not that it's an online program, but it's how we use technology. All the students receive an iPad in the undergraduate program, but all the books for our core curriculum, for the dialogue, we have over 40 different books. We have a university press right on campus. Our faculty has been able to publish the books that traditionally would be on paper. They've selected those chapters that traditionally are used the most, incorporated videos, incorporated different links to articles to really make it a very engaging program. So the transition was really smooth. We have had excellent feedback from students and also for faculty, because not every faculty member was teaching in the online program that was existing, right? But they were able to transition because we have the infrastructure and the support, and really the innovative mind. And I think that's one of the great things about our environment at Lynn, that we're very innovative.
Marilyn says hello from Brazil. We have a student, I believe, R Barber 0119, say, I was gonna go to Lynn, but they only gave me $7,000 academic scholarship. I'm sure that our barber tried and appealed that, but listen, if that's your dream school, don't give up and contact Renee. And who never knows, I didn't go to Lynn University for my undergraduate, but I went for my master's degree and it was absolutely phenomenal. We have Brian saying thank you, and Panagringa is here, says that you are a rock star. Renee, Panagringa, thank you for your time yesterday.
Yes.
Renee, what are the scenarios coming up for the fall? Students are asking, okay, what's the situation? Both freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors, and graduate students. What are the talks on campus about reopening, and what have you heard?
Okay, so, like with so many institutions, we are really prepared. We would like to think that we're going to open for our new incoming students on August 19th, which is the day that orientation begins for the international students. Realistically, we don't know if that's going to happen, but we're moving forward thinking that it is. We have 3 different plans ready to pump into place, depending on what the landscape is at that as we get closer. We will hopefully make an announcement as we get further into the summer, I would think. And don't quote me, I'm just throwing it's out there. I'm not part of these conversations on a day-to-day basis, but our cabinet does meet on a consistent basis. They were meeting every day at the beginning. Now it's, I think, twice a week for a couple of hours. So there are 3 plans that we're looking at. Of course, one is business as usual, classes as usual, same schedules, as if nothing would have happened. But we know that there will be some disruption. You know that we are a heavily populated international student. So we need to be mindful of that when we make our plans. So we might have a delayed start. We might have mini semesters. We don't know yet, but we are prepared. Faculty is prepared so that when we're ready to make a decision, we can just step right in.
And for the students that are watching right now and the parents, these are unprecedented times. None of us have lived this in our history, but as a counselor myself, I tell my students, I tell families, we move on. We move on as a civilization. We got to help each other. If your dream is to continue your education, you should, and you should follow instructions from your dream school. So don't be disappointed at what's happening right now. I know, Renee, I don't know about you. I'm working myself. I find myself more hours. Are you working more hours?
Yes, it's incredible, you know, and I think because part of so much of our work is to travel. And so I think a lot of people think that, oh, we're not traveling, you don't, you know, but we are. But you know what? It's been, and I know it's been said before, but what's wonderful, even though we're so far apart, we are so much closer because I think these kinds of things, Zoom and all that, has opened really the door to reach so many other people that normally maybe wouldn't have taken a phone call or, you know, got on the screen, whether it's, you know, through work, doing just face-to-face meetings. It's so much fun than just getting on the phone, getting to meet the students and the families all together because all the families gather around, we talk. So it's been a wonderful experience.
So for those of the students watching, if they want to schedule a virtual campus tour, how does it work with you guys?
Okay, so we have a site on our webpage. They can go on our webpage and they can schedule their virtual tour. We
Okay.
have many different programs that we are hosting. So students not only can do a virtual campus tour, and that's a tour meeting students that are current students. So I love it when we're doing the tour because they do a tour, then they see a video, they talk to our student ambassadors that are part of our campus visit program, and then an admission counselor joins in. And it's so wonderful to see the conversation among the current students and the prospective students about, you know, the programs that we offer, the campus experience. And, you know, one student could be in Brazil, the other student can be in Sweden, and somebody could be, you know, checking the university out from Slovakia for all we know. So it's been really wonderful.
Okay.
Actually, we've
Renee,
had,
go ahead.
sorry, I was
No,
just
go
going to
ahead.
say, we've had 112 programs in
Wow.
about eight weeks. And
Wow.
we have been able to reach over 2,400 people through our campus visits and our academic programs. So I want to give a shout out to the faculty, to our campus visit team, and our social media team who really have been the backbone to be able to offer all of these programs. We have them on a daily basis. So I encourage people who want to hear more about the university, go on that. Even if you're a counselor at a high school, you're welcome. We had one of our colleagues from China who's actually stuck in Jakarta. He attended one of our academic programs yesterday. So yes, thank you for the opportunity for me to speak about that.
Thank you, Renee. And we have a hi here from Max in Brazil, Balen Fatal. And here it is Marilyn asking, what is the percentage of international students at Lynn University compared to domestic?
So we have 19% right now of our total population is
Okay.
international.
And how many nationalities?
We have up 98
Wow.
countries represented. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's very diverse.
Okay. And now I have questions from the students. Number one, the student athletes, particularly any sport. You guys have won what, 25 national championships?
Yes, and we have 19 teams, 19 different sports.
NCAA Division Two. What is NCAA Division Two talking about sports? Have you heard anything, any updates on athletics, please?
Absolutely, absolutely. So for us, you know, life has also changed. I think for everyone, we can't minimize that. But if you can think of all the coaches and all the compliance, Division 1, 2, and 3, they have had some major changes that they need to adapt
Yes.
to. I was talking with our compliance officer the other day, and they get like 30-page updates every 2 weeks.
Wow.
In terms of different types of adjustments that have to be made, because as things change, you know, how you talk to students, when you talk to students, how many games are going to be played in the fall, how many, you know, how they have to play a minimum number of games, they can play a maximum number of games in order to stay compliant with NCAA. So that has to be constantly adjusted. They have extended a year for athletes to be able to play. So that's you know, that is very positive for the students. But yeah, it's been also a whirlwind for them and for the coaches, because if you can think of, not a great deal has changed in terms of the NCAA guidelines over the last 30 years. So for coaches who have been working with the same guidelines for over 30 years now, to have these things changed, it's been a big adjustment for them too. So I just want to take my hat off to you and say, you know, good job. I know that you're constantly watching all those things.
I know. And we have a lot of questions coming up. So thank you. Let's
Okay.
get ready for more
Okay.
questions. Renee, remind us of, for us in the counseling side, for a school like you that is test optional, athletes, NCAA still require SAT, ACT, correct?
So NCAA does.
Okay.
Lynn is test optional. So yes.
Okay. So that one. Okay. We have a question here from Oli Lembok, and I'm sorry for my pronunciation. Do you have any idea when consulates will be open in order to apply for an F1 visa? So I assumed your student already has the I-20 to apply for a visa.
Yeah, so it's been great because we've been able to email I-20s, just as CEVA came up with that regulation. All the universities that are issuing I-20s can do it via email. So for this student, and thank you for your question, so there are some consulates that are already scheduling visa appointments.
Okay.
So I would advise the student to please check locally for
Yes.
your embassy and your consulate. I can tell you that London, Belfast, all of the consulates in China, I believe, with the exception of Wuhan, are processing visa appointments. The challenge is that they're processing for like September. So I would say just check with your local embassy and consulate.
And yesterday we have someone from Education USA, and that was the same advice. Please check with your local consulate. They have the latest information in the web page. And the good news for the students that are watching, you are priority for the embassy. So once they see your application, they have priority for a student visa. So look out. Then we have a question from a student in Morocco. Well, I didn't take the English test because coronavirus. What can I do in this situation? I missed some documents and I live in Morocco. What could be her alternative for English as a second language test?
Oh, there are terrific alternatives. So first of all, hello, and thank you for tuning in from Morocco. I love Morocco. I go to Casablanca and Rabat to do some recruitment there, and I've met some fantastic students and people there. So you can take the Duolingo exam. The Duolingo exam offers a very convenient way to take the test. It's very inexpensive. It's $49. You can take it from the comfort of your home, but make sure that it's a quiet space and that there's no movement in the room, because it's sensitive in terms of security, because it has to, and we will accept a minimum of 100 on the Duolingo exam. TOEFL is also offering that you can take it from home, and we will also accept that. But I find that most students and most student friendly is the Duolingo, and there's still time to do that because your score will be available in just a matter of days.
I had the opportunity to go to the Duolingo headquarters in Pittsburgh. Absolutely phenomenal. The cybersecurity they have is incredible. So students, take advantage of that test if you can, and you can take it from your house. So as Renee says, so that's a good answer. How long does it take for your I-20 to get processed and send them electronically to the student?
So once the student meets their I-20 documents requirements, we are issuing within 48 hours maximum. We have a fantastic team in the International Student Services Office. You probably remember Moraima.
Yes.
in the International Student Services Office, and Sheila from my team in admissions. We work with all the students to get their documents as soon as possible, and then 48 hours, an email goes out to them. And we're going to be holding some virtual sessions for students who are coming in about how to apply for visas and how to prepare all that. And there will be live sessions with Sheila and Moraima. So tune in to the Lynn webpage.
And then for Fatally Eyes, or I'm sorry for pronunciation again, Renee, have you been to Casablanca?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Fantastic place. Yeah.
That's your answer, and I have been to Casablanca. Absolutely beautiful. Then we have this from Diana Hara. Do you think the U.S. will be more flexible to approve student visas going forward?
I would love to have, one of those magic balls to look through to know, but that's a big question that really who knows? It's kind of like, is it going to rain tomorrow? And we don't know. So yeah, I would hope so, but that's
so. Since I can give my opinion here, I don't work for the State Department. I don't work for a university. I work independently, and I travel so much. The answer to you, Diana, yes, they will give priority to the students. Students are part of this nation's culture. It's been here for a couple hundred years, and is here to stay. So there is a culture of welcoming international students into the nation. Of course, they might be restricting some majors for students, but in terms of coming to the US, absolutely. This is the #1 country in the world in terms of accepting students from around the world, with the UK, Germany, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. There's so many countries, China. So to answer your question, yes. Another question we have here. Hi, hope you're doing well. Will Lynn be an online semester, or will classes be on campus? I assume next semester.
Okay, so we're planning for both. Depending, we have to wait for guidance from the state of Florida, obviously, and also from the CDC. If we have indication that we can open, we'll have students here, and hopefully all of our international students can get here. If not, then we will be working individually with those to make sure that we don't miss out.
Okay, and then I guess Max, maybe a business future major, says, will Lynn be open to negotiate prices in classes, in case classes are online? Thanks for your time.
So I would say if cost is a challenge for students, go check out our online program, the online program. Okay, so there's a difference. Lynn has a day that's a traditional 4-year program. And then we have an online program that's been offered for 20 years. Check that out. If cost is a real issue, check that out.
Okay. Renee, you have the latest information for international students that are applying for scholarships. I know that once they apply to you, you guys are going to be reviewing transcripts. How will that process work for you guys?
So moving forward, and what we've been doing is we evaluate we're test optional. So if you submit your transcript, we look at your essay. We're going to look at the type of curriculum that's in your transcript to really evaluate and see what is that GPA made out of. For us, it's important to have the right fit student. So it's not just about your GPA or how many books you've read and how many A's you have. Your GPA, though, when we convert from every country, we will convert your grades. For high school, we will do that. We don't require that you send to an external agency. We will determine your scholarship if you're admitted to Lynn anywhere between $7,000 and $18,000. So if you were admitted to Lynn, you will get a scholarship anywhere between $7,000 and $18,000.
Okay. So, and right now, was the total cost of Lynn University tuition, room, books, fees was?
So it's tuition, room and board and fees. It's about $52,000.
Okay, already. And for those of you watching, only 45 minutes from Miami. There is a nice train that stops in Fort Lauderdale Airport, Miami, West Palm. So how far are you from the beach, the university, from the ocean?
The university is about 5.9 kilometers, I think, to use kilometers. So it's very close. We have a bike share program. Students can go check out a bike from our campus safety office. and students ride the bike over to the beach on Saturdays, and you can just hold on to that bike for no charge, just
No,
being part of the university.
it's a beautiful place. Now,
Hmm.
I'm sure that all the parents are asking about international flights. When are the borders going to be open? Any idea? Have you heard anything from Miami Airport? Uh, anything? I haven't heard anything yet about opening for international flights besides humanitarian flights.
Correct. We're just watching that closely to see when that hopefully an announcement will be made. I think also, you know, depending on where you're coming from, you need to be watching your particular country quarantine and when that's going to lift up. But we know that once all that lifts, then it's going to be back to the craziness of Miami Airport. And hopefully with social distancing and all that, everyone will be prepared for their flights and arrival into Miami Airport. And we also
Thank
have
you.
Fort Lauderdale International and Palm
Yes.
Beach International.
Yes, and I forgot for Lauderdale International, they fly to Europe, Norwegian Airlines. There are many. Actually, um, Qatar flies to Miami, and then there is another airline that flies to the Middle East to Fort Lauderdale. We have a question here, and I know we have to wrap up in the next 3 5 minutes. But tell us a little bit more about the 3 year program.
Okay, awesome. A 3 year program is an accelerated program. It's modeled after European, the model in the UK.
Yes.
And it's offered in all majors at Lynn, with the exception of our Bachelor of Fine Arts and our education program and the Conservatory of Music programs. It's a way for it's for the motivated students. So students,
Okay.
if you're motivated, it doesn't mean that you have to be like a brain. If you're motivated to get things done quickly, then this is a program for you. You complete your 4 years in 3 years. So
And you're
you end up
saving 1 year.
you're saving 1 year cost. It's an extra scholarship that you're getting if you think about it. So you could get a $18,000 scholarship on the first year that renews every year. And then you finish your program in 3 years. So
Okay.
you're saving an entire year.
Renee,
And all you're doing is taking extra classes. Mm-hmm.
what percentage of Lynn University is currently right now in the 3 year program?
Wow, so that's a great question. So we have somewhere between 25 and 30%. When we
Wow.
started the
Wow.
program, imagine you
Yes.
were there when we started the program, right?
Yes, yes, I was there.
And remember how many students we had? Not even 50. I think we had like 26
No,
students.
it was very small.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Well, okay, we have a really good question from Adriana Lopez. If classes do start this fall, what precautions will be taken?
So that's a very good question, and I'm sure that's on top of everyone's mind. We talk to parents and students all the time. So we need to abide by all the CDC guidelines that will be given to us for the state. But on top of that, the most important thing for Lynn, we have 3,300 precious students with us, right?
Wow.
So for us, it's very important that they are safe. So we are in the process of taking a look at that. Residence Life is working very hard to look at how everything is going to work in the dining hall, in the cafeterias, everywhere. It is something that touches every single part of the experience for the student, from the residence hall, bathrooms, rooms, to meals, to even sitting in the classroom. So be assured, we have a team that's working and looking at all that.
And to Adriana, I have been doing a lot of research, not only for Lynn, for a lot of universities have been announcing that classrooms will be very small. So right now there is an office within each university, and they are working logistics, how they will be spreading out all the classrooms. So you will be super safe. And if the occupancy for a classroom is 50 people, they will follow the CDC guidelines of whether you have to have 20, 30, 40%. So I'm sure, and being worked at Lynn University myself, they will take all the precautions. And then Danielle, you'll be your last question here. We got to move on, but what's your acceptance rate right now? That's a question from a student.
So we're about 70% acceptance rate. We accept students, like I said, we have a incoming class of about 60 countries. And we welcome students to come and take a look. It's not just about, like I said, about the GPA. We want the student that's motivated, that's going to be active on campus, that is forward thinking, and is really going to make a contributor to our student life environment and the classroom.
Renee, let's go to the most important part. How are you, and what are you learning from this social distancing and staying at home, day 70 at home? I know you were leading the CIS tour in Latin America, and you guys have pretty much had to evacuate on your third country. What have you learned, or what have you been learning?
Well, what I learned that you have to make decisions very quickly sometimes, and you have to just follow your gut. And I think with experience, that's I learned that, you know, we just sometimes have to bite the bullet. So I had a great group of 17 university representatives from 6 different countries, and we had a tremendous tour planned, and we really wanted to see all the high school students that we were planning to see and our colleagues at the different high schools. But unfortunately, we were only able to have a visit in Brasilia, and then we all returned to our different countries. From this experience, it learned so much. It's an everyday learning. I've learned about myself, flexibility, that you have to adjust and adapt. And I think as human beings, we all adapt and adjust, but really that we are all the same, and we have to keep reminding ourselves that we need to be compassionate. We have so many people around the world that are not as blessed as we are here. We do have quarantine, but we can go out for fresh breath of air. In many countries, that is not happening because they get fined, or there's different ways that it's being applied. So it's an everyday thing. Working online, it's been a wonderful experience, because, you know, just being on the camera with people from everywhere in the world, you can talk to all your colleagues in one day, if you really want to, by doing all these Zoom calls. So it's been a great experience, but I miss the human touch.
Renee, you wanna say your email? You have a question you may wanna answer to Yohi or T Goza. How to live off campus as a first-year international student.
All right, Yogi, as a first-year international student, you're required to live on campus at Lynn University. We have a 2-year residency requirement, that we want students to live on our campus so that they can be part of the community. You can, however, if you have family in the area and it's close to Lynn, you can be eligible for a housing waiver, and there is a way to apply. You can email me at rloayza, Loayza, @lynn.edu, and I'm happy to talk with you.
And just a quick hello to Lori Cook, okay, Stephanie, Susan, everybody in the admissions office, Gareth, Stefano. Thank you so much. Thank you, Taryn, for allowing us to use the Lynn admissions account for this live. Remember, this live will be housed on Instagram TV here at Juan Catamayo. I also will house this live on YouTube, so you guys can watch it. You can share with your parents, your colleagues, and so forth. And one question, I know your dad got stuck in Cochabamba. How is your dad doing? Your mom is in Boston and your dad is in Bolivia. How are they doing?
Right. They're both doing very well. Thank you. My dad, yes, he was on a business trip, and he just got stuck. They closed. He could have come home, you know, on one of the repatriation flights, but he thought, okay, maybe I'll just stay and I can do some things online, right? But not every country is like the US. Things have really like shut down over there. So he's stuck, but he's doing very well. He's with family and is doing well. Thanks for asking. Yeah.
Good, Renee. And to the whole admissions team, graduate school, Dr. Ross, everybody at Lynn University, I love you. I miss you guys. But Renee, this is your casa. Mi casa es tu casa. Anytime you guys want to come back, the space is on for you guys. So to all of you watching, thank you so much, Renee. Stay safe and see you soon.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thanks for all the team, and thanks for everybody for tuning in, and to the team at Lynn University.
Thank you so much, Juan Catamayo, for you, JCT for Education. Adios. Gracias.
Bye-bye. Gracias.
Ciao. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.